welcome to this video about building the Bramble line. Now the Bramble line is an idea that I got when I recently acquired a collection of G-scale locomotives and a bit of track and some wagons and so on. So G-scale is completely new to me. Normally I deal with Marklin Z1220. So this time I thought I'd video progress. So here's part one, the plan. I'm going to take a look at the sketches on paper, some of the restrictions that were imposed on the project, and then a short tour around where the track's going to go. Right, so first let's take a look at some of those restrictions that I talked about. Of course, with every project there are restrictions, and this one's not unlike any other. So there were some guiding principles handed to me before I started this. First of all, no major groundwork allowed. Leave the garden as it is as much as possible. Merge in with the existing plants and structures. Don't rip anything out, put anything new, go around what you have to. We need to allow for a house move at some point, so not as permanent as most garden railways. And also, we wanted to recycle as many of the building materials as possible from the waste we've been generating over the years. So first, we're going to take a look at my ideas and how they were sketched on paper, and then we'll take a short video tour of the real ground that I'm going to be working on. So here it is, fairly typical space, rectangular garden with a few buildings already in place. The house, obviously not that size, but facing north. There's a garage, there's an office building, and a potting shed on the left hand side, and then this leaves me roughly with 12 meters by 10 total space that I might be able to use. So clearly I don't have access to everything, and I can't have all the space. So the first things we need to start taking account of are things like paths, which I've marked on here, and also we have a pond down there in that right hand side of the garden, so I can't have those to use. So we need to also take account of some other features in the garden. We have a patio, which I can't use, that's surrounded by a flower bed. We have a lawn, we have some other flower beds, and also in that bottom right hand corner is an area of decking which is kind of heavily used during the summer. You remember earlier I had to also take account of existing flowers, shrubs, bushes and so on, and work this layout around those. So I've added those bushes and some of the key trees to the picture here. Start filling in the areas that I'm restricted to work with. And let's not forget some fruit trees and some key shrubs. And lastly, a final bit of negotiation, laid out just exactly which area I could be using for this planned layout, and a no train demarcation line was added. To make best use of the space, I thought I would push this to the boundaries and create one main loop that work its way around all the key obstacles and also around that boundary. Next I thought, yeah, maybe we should have a second loop, and I thought a good idea would be to run this smaller loop following the edge of the path, through the shrubs, around the back of the pond, and then loop back where it would join the main circuit, which was marked in red. It's always good to plan for the future, or the might be's, or the possibilities. So I kind of added a cheeky junction at the top, marked in orange, that would allow for summer running with the track laid on the grass, with the promise that it would be taken up, but at least trains that were put there could then join the main track as well. To help with general access to the area, to the track, and to keep things sweet, I also designed in two areas where there would have to be some removable bridges, one down there near the potting shed and the other one leading up onto the lawn from beside the pond. As we've got a dead area in the garden on the right hand side shaded in blue, I decided that this would be where the station was going to go, hopefully with some sidings and maybe an engine shed or something there, but really don't know at this stage, but that was the best place for it. And the last challenge, which had to be taken into consideration, was the fact the garden's not level. There are a number of levels. The drawing makes it look more exaggerated than it actually is, but in the end we would have some portion of the track on the ground and some portion on an elevated section of track. And so here we are. That's one of the paths. On the right hand side is the potting shed, bit of heather there, and you can see here I'll put some track down for the first loop, and a potential track leading out maybe to where the bridge is towards the back where the ground dips and the back wall fence. And then coming round the garden curves, you can see a lot of all the challenges that are ahead, not least which the undergrowth. Even though it's in December, in the summer it gets pretty mad along here. So we keep coming up to the next part where I've been playing around with a little bit of track, and this is a kind of junction area where we can come onto summer running. We can lead off taking that right hand fork on the inner circle, that was the purple one in the drawing, and then continue on with the main outer circuit. It's there looking back, you can see the ponds in the background, and the grasses that have got to be negotiated when we start building. The red main line heads off into that corner there, into all the undergrowth, bits of wood and everything else along the back fence, up to the area where I'm thinking it's pretty cool for the station and sidings. While you're having a beer or wine, see there's some more track there which has been out while playing around. Back fence. The poles are in. I've already levelled this. I had a computerised level which I put in to start with, and I just marked them up with these poles, so a little bit of work has been done prior to it, so you can see the height, if you like, of the raised part of the track, crossing back over where the removable bridge is going to be, connecting up to where we started, where I can go off and take the outer loop, or indeed come along this inner loop, where I think I'm going to put a sort of halt, a small station there, so I can actually store some wagons, and then you can see the track there going off behind the pump for the pond, which I'm probably going to have to move around the back of the shrubs into dense undergrowth. It's almost a jungle up there, around the pond, heavy overgrowth, so this will be a kind of real world railway challenge around the back of Sydney the Snail, up by the fisherman's cottages. So thanks for watching so far. Nothing else to say except that I will post an update when some real progress has been made. So thank you very much.